Yes.
Hey, can you talk a little bit about, I heard you mention offhandedly that there's a machine that allows you to basically download any ebook and turn it into an ebook. How does that work? What does it cost? What are the legal issues surrounding that?
Yeah.
It sounds like a kind of silver bullet.
So there's a company called On Demand Books. It was actually started by, what's his name, Epstein. He was a Random House editor, Jason Epstein. He started that. It's called On Demand Books, and they've been around for, I think, 4 or 5 years. And they created, essentially, on the prototype, and they created this, thing. It's called the Espresso Print on Demand, machine. It's basically, 2 big printers. There's a big black and white printer, like a regular Xerox printer, that produces, all the, the pages, that go kind of like inside the book. And then there's a small color printer that produces, the color. And then there's a bonding gluing thing, so it actually binds it, glues it, and it's a complete zero touch. I mean, you just basically, go through a screen, you kind of, put in what you need, and the book comes out. Literally, and the book just pops out. And there's a whole catalog of, about 1 million or so titles that are already available to be printed, through this Espresso Print on Demand machine. And I feel like I'm like a walking advertisement for this thing at this point.
How much does the machine cost?
I think you said
so if you buy it kind of like cash up front, it's about $150,000. But you can do leasing and, kind of like financing plans and kind of like, spread out the payments, over a few years. And there's about half a dozen bookstores in the country who already have this. We're not the first ones.
How does the money get split? Between who gets what?
I have a number somewhere in like an Excel spreadsheet because the Espresso people sent it to me. I don't remember all of it. It's kind of like,
But you get a cut. The book.
Yes.
The publisher gets a cut, and then
Yep.
Author.
And then the book,
Xerox gets a cut.
And Epstein gets a cut.
Yeah, Xerox gets a card, On Demand Books gets a card, publisher gets a card, author gets a card, bookstore gets a card. And then the other thing you can do is, what we're finding is the bookstores that have already implemented this, and the first one was North Shore Books in Vermont. They implemented one like 2 or almost maybe 3 years ago. What they did was they actually started a whole publishing business around it because the catalog of books that was available electronically wasn't big enough. So they started working with local writers and putting them together with editors and book cover designers and producing books, of their own, publishing books, and then this thing was just, the ability to print it. So the thing is, if you're really going to get into the publishing business, you don't need a printing facility for that.
Right.
This book was, the one we were passing it on was printed in Canada. They had actually photo book. You can get books printed in China, you can get them printed in Canada, you can get them printed anywhere else. It's not kind of nice to have, printing, ability right there in the store. But the publishing business is really different than the printing business, and you can get into the publishing business if that's something a lot of you think makes sense. We can put a whole business plan together for that. We're already testing the waters with this first book on 30.
But the appeal is just that it allows independent bookstores to have unlimited shelf space and get a percentage of that, and sort of and keep people from, for example, like discovering a book in your store and then going elsewhere to buy it. Right.
It's true for the publishers too. An awful lot of backlinks in an invisible way.
They're in Ingram, so you just order them on demand.
Right.
Well,
Jennifer.
yes, I just want to speak about a positive experience I had going directly paperback to Caroline's point, because my book was a relaunch book for Kepler Press, and I'm a librarian by training. My husband used to be a bookbinder. We had this great image of a beautiful hardcover, dust jacket, creamy paper book, but we wanted to sell it at Christmas time and do it quickly, and so we went the other way. We went initially to, first of all, to paper, and we were able to price it at $14, which was really quite affordable. And it also gave as much, and most of my books in my home are hardcover books, and it broke my heart not to have that happen. But there's a hand feel about a paperback which just incorporates the cover to the book itself in a different way. And so we were, with the amazing cooperation of Booksmith, my book was the #1 bestseller in December because you sold it and mailed it out, and it was affordable, and people bought multiple copies as presents. So I just wanted to say I went 180 degrees in thinking I really wanted more than anything to be hardcover published, but to be paperback published was just a gift.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Julie?
One thing that I participated in at 826 Valencia for one of their fund drives was they had, it was very simple, a memoir panel. Like 3 memoirs showed up and we fielded questions by Michelle T. So, I mean, that would be something that requires really no preparation or effort from anyone, and you'd have these authors who feel indebted to you who would be willing to work with you. And I think they charged $50 to $100 a head. And
Wow.
they filled the place. They filled it up.
No, that's great.
And we donated our time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We didn't expect anything in return.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea. Love to
Something to toss
explore
around.
that. No, love to explore that more.
Janice was whispering in my ear, and something Laura and I have been talking about too is classes. I'm going to expand a little bit more on your thoughts on classes.
Yeah, people have brought up to us the idea of doing classes at the Booksmith. The places we're doing, we felt there were already a lot of writing classes in San Francisco. So instead of being yet another place to offer writing classes, we figured we should better just kind of stay out of it and really just help other people who are already trying to do writing classes. So Laura's class on memoirs, and everybody, Ethan's wonderful class on nonfiction writing, which actually I took myself. So we've basically just been kind of playing more of a, let's just help you guys, sell more seats for your writing classes and promote your classes and so on, and not getting the writing class business ourselves. Kepler's, I don't know how you guys feel about that. I mean, I think it's again.
It's very regional. People don't usually travel very far.
Yeah.
So my experience is that our students are very local.
Yep.
They very rarely come from that far in the South Bay. They very rarely come from that far in the North Bay.
Yep.
So I don't think you have a lot of other people down where you are, and I think you pull a whole different group of people. And I know it's really helped the passage to in those kind of classes and conferences and kept them going. So I think it'd be really good.
And you'd basically just be competing with Stanford.
Stanford, right? Stanford.
Oh, we can take on Stanford. Yeah. We're taking on Amazon. We can take on Stanford too. No, I think
Well,
that's a
I'd
good
be
idea.
happy to talk to you about how we put them together here.
Yeah, yeah, and I think if we do that at Kepler education classes, which I would love to explore, I think we would really want to do that in a win-win way. So all of you, who rely on teaching classes and basically being instructors and making some money through that way, it becomes another avenue, another channel for you to offer your classes down on the peninsula. And we do all the work, just like Book Passage does up in Madan. We do all the work in promoting and organizing and marketing the classes, and you just have to show up and teach, and all your audience is there, and you don't have to figure out all the business of running an education company, and basically we take care of that for you. So I think that would be something to I would love to explore that.
And they do their best on their conferences, which go over the long weekends, and I've taught at a few of those, and I can talk to you about those too. They put together those whole big long travel writers conference or mystery writers conference and that kind of thing, which you could tap into the people who are coming in to do your nonprofit stuff too.
Yep.
And I know they make a ton of money on
Yeah.
And I would think if you got agents to come,
those. Which they
Yeah.
always do, agents and editors.
I mean,
for that.
you would have people pay
Yep.
for that chance to have a contact with them.
Right. Great. No, I love that idea. I think that's a great idea. Peter.
What else can we do to offer help? I mean, what can we do for Kepler's to work in this nonprofit? I mean, anything else? I mean,
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Really, I think we should treat today as really the beginning of the conversation and the beginning of the engagement for Kepler. So we have been working with you, all of you, for Booksmith and for Berkeley, already, and today is the beginning of the engagement for Kepler's. And let's just treat that as the starting point. Let's stay in touch. Love to do more of this. I'd love to have you guys come down there and kind of like check out the bookstore. I dragged Frank up here today, even though he was really busy with the John Green event, so you guys could meet who the head buyer is. I think just having connections into the store for all of you, so you know who the buyer is, who the events manager is, who you need to reach for different things, and so you don't have to go through me or go through Christin for everything. You guys can basically just start interfacing with things, and and then as our plans start to unfold, we'd just love to kind of do more specific ideation around the classes. Peroni had some really good ideas. She sent me a long email that I haven't even responded to yet. Thank you for that long email.
You're welcome.
You want to talk about like a couple of your ideas while we have the audience here?
Sure. I just thought you didn't have enough reading material. So page email. I guess there's three major themes, but one of my thoughts was that, as you've touched on already, that the book space is the bookstore is such a social space, and it's something that I think people are still craving, whatever social media is trying to tell us, that there's this kind of desire to connect with people. And I know in Britain, some of the most popular events are astonishing. We hold them in a hotel, charge a lot of money. People turn up and they want to talk about books, but they're not authors necessarily. And it seems there's a larger number. There are still more kind of readers out there than writers, and people who, at the average author reading, people still come and they engage in the Q&A and they listen to the audience. But if you were to turn the mic over to them, then you give them a piece of power, and they can get to talk about books, and then there's this incredible magic that happens. So ways to riff off that would be doing things like a theme, and in this way people kind of rave about their various passions. You set a theme. So something we wanted to talk to you about was kind of getting some links with some of the embassies that we know, and establishing something like an international day, a day for French Day. We collaborate with different businesses, the embassies, and people turn up, and so many readers are armchair travelers. This way, you get much more than Amazon can ever offer you. You get to meet a ton of other people who've been to France, who like to talk about France, and of course you turn to books. There's free wine sampling, food, whatever, as a kind of decorative element. But it's a place to meet and socialize and rave with other people. And inevitably, I think there would actually be an automatic connection to buying books as well, whether or not you're looking for that. But
we are. Trust me, we are looking for that.
I mean, not only do you become this kind of focus within the community, but it's I don't really know an equivalent event. And if you did this on a regular basis, we would know this is the place we go to. You'd love to get to go and kind of try out the literature of a different country, and there's so much curiosity about that. Again, I just kind of riffed with a couple of management consultant people from Stanford actually about your questions, and one of the most popular ideas is about this idea of, well, what are the most popular 10 books in Paris at the moment, in the Paris bookstores? What are they reading? If you just had a list on your wall, so we could access that, it would be great. I mean, I know a lot of people like reading about your staff picks. That's not the item of Green Apple, but to know what people are reading in Paris, I think we're always inquisitive. Or better still, in Johannesburg and Cairo, I mean, really try and make it international and again get the conversation going.
No, those are great ideas. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. I mean, we can talk about dinner.
And so going back to Peter's question, what can you guys do to help? I think generally when we're going out into the community and talking to people, it basically comes down to 3 or 4 things. One, time. If you guys have time and interest in getting involved with this, then you basically let me know, and I'll find a way you can plug into this. I'm volunteering my time. I would like a whole group of community champions who stepped up in Menlo Park and Palo Alto area, all volunteer, really heavy hitters. I mean, these are the ex-mayor of Menlo Park is running our fundraising campaign. It's just amazing the kind of volunteer energy that's going into basically creating and setting this thing up. So I would love to have people from the writing community start engage with us if you have any time or interest, and so that's one. Second is help us get the word out. I mean, I think we really are going to need to create a big marketing story out of this, because the story needs to be sold. It needs to be told and it needs to be sold. And no one better at telling stories than you guys. You guys are all writers. So help us, really tell the story, because I think what we're trying to do here really can have big positive implications for the rest of the book selling industry.
Excuse me,
So in whichever way you want to do that, whether it's by just telling friends or, putting it on your email newsletter or, any other way, love helping getting the word out.